district. I know this is my first time here, but this suddenly makes me feel so nostalgic.
Sunsets will do that, I find, regardless of time period.
Yes, but this must be... Well, I suppose it must be one of those places. So, where am I going?
I've rented an apartment under a false name.
Can't be any worse than our last accommodations. As long as it's not Rebel, I'll take it.
My apologies. If it's any comfort, I'm certain nobody will find you there. Not Shikishima, and certainly not Miss Morimura. I suppose we have Ida-san to thank for all this. The funds and paperwork he prepared were invaluable.
Tetsuya Ida. And he's still missing, is he?
Yes. Let's go. Chihiro-san.
You think I'm the professor?
That is what I said. You are Professor Chihiro Morimura, a major figure in Shikishima in the year 2188. Namely, the leader of its space initiative.
What are you even talking about?
Just some hypotheticals. A possible interpretation of the evidence I found.
Okay, say I am the professor. Remember, Miss Morimura is the one who created me. You think that was her plan? She wanted a host for the professor and not herself? How would that make sense?
Miss Morimura ran an experiment to grant her clone compatibility. She believed that you were synchronized to her. She believed it was her own data she transmitted. But it was the other Chihiro Morimura in Sector 0. And of course, you entered the world as a newborn, incapable of verbal communication. So Miss Morimura never realized her mistake.
This is all speculation.
Certainly, yes. But if I'm right, and you are the professor, I imagine you were in quite a panic yourself. All things considered, it was a staggering deviation from the original plan.
What original plan?
Among the logs from 2188, one of Tetsuya Ida's noted that he'd found an anomaly. Chihiro Morimura was set to undergo a memory transplant in the final phase. And the final phase, well, that would be us.
I don't know where you think you're going with this.
A bit of patience, please. There's a little more context I need to provide. The log from the future I saw first. That would be the comms log I found with my own ID. The first log I checked held some surprises. The author seemed to be an elderly RENYA GOUTO. And the date of recording appeared to be 2188. I assumed it was some future version of myself. One that had time traveled into the far future. But now, I don't think that's the case. I believe it's the other way around. In other words, I myself am a clone of him. Every individual I saw in that log footage, they all created clones of themselves.
Clones? Huh?
I did find a log that proves this point.
What did you see?
A comms log between you and Professor Takamiya. Her field is genetic engineering, I note.
Professor Takamiya. How are the projections on those self-replicating probes? The simulations look good. Especially the survey range. We never expected a rate of expansion that high. It was definitely the right call to prioritize its strength as a group over individual units. These probes are pretty much living machines now. They self-replicate using natural resources mined from asteroids in their routing. They'll just keep building up and breaking down. An infinite cycle of self-replication on its way to its target. There's basically zero chance of the tech failing midway through. They'll just keep on going. Probably long after humanity's gone. Glad I came to an expert then. All that's left is the refinement of the memory cube. The infrastructural storage cell, right? The cube's made up of 5 identical memory layers. In theory, it'll compare itself to nearby probes and use them as a template for repairs. And if it can't be repaired, well... fine, 1 probe down. We've got thousands more. And our passengers? I'll be loading them up with the DNA of all the survivors. I've already got samples and data from all 15. Now it's just down to launching them. These clones will go with all our hopes on their shoulders. By the way, what do we do about him? I mean, after that DNA test. We do nothing. He doesn't have to know. What can I even say to him? Not much, I guess.
There were 15 survivors of that colony, each with a clone established to be compatible. Though they grew up in different eras, different worlds. And you aimed to replace your clone's memories with your own. That was your real plan. Right now, I imagine your biggest question is precisely how much of that log I've seen. Am I close? You do have a genius mind, but also the form of a child. I imagine it's harder than usual to hide your agitation.
It's absolutely not... Now you're just trying to trick me?
I'd say, based on that log, Professors Takamiya and Morimura seem to know each other quite well. Maybe you know something about that.
Of course not.
Then perhaps instead, Tsukasa Okino? Being compatible, that makes one part of his identity clear. He's one of the 15 from the year 2188. So, any theories? Who was he in the year 2188? Care to guess?
Stop it.
No? Then allow me to clarify. That boy, Tsukasa Okino, is Professor Chihiro Morimura's son. But not her child by personal, conventional birth. The professor donated her egg cells as a young woman, in accordance with the policies on population control. Their blood relation wasn't exactly obvious, until DNA testing on the clone revealed it. The professor was faced with the truth. He was her son, which naturally sparked an inconvenient surge of maternal instinct. However, Okino himself didn't think highly of the professor. He had his disagreements with the project staff, too. When it seemed like her end was near, the professor recorded him one final message. One last chance for him to know the truth.
Stop! You saw that? But how? You'd need a biometric ID match to access that log. So you should only have been able to access your own. My logs and Okino's should have been locked off.
Thank you, Professor Morimura. Indeed, the files I could access were somewhat limited. Mostly company logs. Meeting reports, call transcripts, bureaucratic chaff. Barely anything in the way of your personal records.
Then, how do you know what was in my logs?
It's simple, really. That should do it for preparations. Now, let's see if the biometric authentication works. Did it go through? Looks like that got me past the initial barrier, at least. Now, with Miss Morimura's ID, I should be able to get into her logs. Maybe, if I check Miss Morimura's logs, I might find a clue why your biometric ID matches hers. It really is her ID.
Iori Fuyusaka?
Though unconscious, she proved very helpful. She is Chihiro Morimura, a compatible version. If you really are Miss Morimura, then you should already know who Iori Fuyusaka is. Because that would mean you hid her here in Sector 4. The plan was for the two newborns to grow up with their own separate lives. Ida-san's idea, presumably. Chihiro Morimura was planned to be placed in 2104, and Tetsuya Ida in 2024, yet neither could be found.
I knew RENYA GOUTO of Shikishima pretty well. You and he are very different. Except that you both make my life a lot harder. So, suppose I am the professor. Then what?
I want to know the truth. I want to know the reasons behind all of this. But that seems unlikely. I imagine you're not inclined to tell me anything.
And why's that?
It'd be inconvenient for you if we had all the facts. Considering you're trying to eliminate us. From the very beginning, you never intended for this world to survive. Oh? Huh.
The kaiju! Why are they coming this way? The terminal's the other way. Oh, that's Sentinel. That's gotta be Iori. Hey, Iori! What's going on? Iori-chan? They all appeared on disappeared. What the heck is going on? Don't worry. I'm going to protect you. Everything's gonna be okay. I need to stay logical. Logical. Just so you know, I didn't want to do this. I'm gonna try something. Huh? Honestly. Goto-kun! I know you can see me! You've got a drone up, right? I need you here right now! Goto? You don't mean... Goto-kun! Renya Goto? Yup. So you know him too? There you are. Goto-senpai! Where did you come from?
Chihiro-san, why did you call for me?
My senior ID can get me access to the higher level commands. But I still need the biometric authentication to get it started. So I'll need your help. Though... it's not a favor for me. I'm the one who's going to be helping all of you, in the end. Don't move.
Are you trying to shift from here?
I need you to step away.
This place is...
We're inside the underground UFO. The Sector 4 mainframe.
What are you trying to achieve?
Maximum hypocrisy. Once I'm done here, your fight might get just a little easier. Get on the shifter already. I've established a connection to the system. My senior credentials should take care of the rest. Thank you. I didn't think you'd come back for me. I'm shifting you back. Now, let's get started, shall we? All units fighting the kaiju. Can you hear me?
Who's that? How'd you get on this channel?
Huh? Wait, you're the gloomy Iwako was helping.
Chihiro. Is that you, Chihiro?
I'm Chihiro Morimura.
What? That's our teacher's name.
I'm going to evacuate the populace all at once. Readouts say 1.2 million people in Sector 4. They'll all be force shifted to the year 2025. As in Sector 3.
To the year 2025? You're shifting over 1 million people?
So you don't have to worry about any civilian casualties. That's all.
Wait a minute, Chihiro!
Initializing shift. Isn't this... That should be everyone. Unbelievable. Absolutely ridiculous. Why am I doing this?
Oh, I went through.
What's the meaning of this? How did you gain access? Explain yourself.
I'm Takatoshi Hijiyama. I just have one favor to ask of you.
A favor?
Well, it's kind of complicated, but I'm actually asking on behalf of someone else. A young man by the name of Okino.
Tsukasa Okino?
This data is that you, Goto? It's been a while. The last time I saw you was 2 months before my death. Roughly a year ago, I think. Chairman Ogata? An AI construct based on Chairman Kengo Ogata. Why would this be in Morimura's files? I see. So this is how she managed to raise all those funds. She must have used this AI to access the Shikishima chairman's hidden network. Not quite. I'm afraid that was originally my idea. The good Professor Morimura was only following my orders. So all of this was by design? Your design? Leaking the prototype nanomachinery to the black market? The catastrophic consequences? You're the one who exploited her. If you blame anyone, blame yourself. We were so close to losing Project Ark entirely. Now we must prioritize the project above all else. I'll finally have my second chance at life. You were planning on downloading yourself into a clone. A brave new Earth is waiting for me. I won't let you do this. What is Professor Morimura doing now? She's dead. By that hitman's hands, I presume. That's humanity. Self-destructive to the very end. Only a few survivors left now. I give them 3 days at most. My deepest condolences for your imminent death. Shut up, Construct. Your project is over. Unfortunately for you, the Ark is already set off. It's still within comms range. You don't have clearance. I refuse to let an AI control the future of humanity. Out of the survivors, the ones who would have clearance.
So, suppose I am the professor. Then what?
3 months prior. This refers... If Operation Aegis succeeds, a world reset will no longer be possible. This operation goes against Professor Morimura's agenda. She will stop at nothing to prevent it.
You think I'm trying to destroy the world?
I do.
So you think I'm enabling the kaiju now? Even though I've got more reason to hate them than any of you?
That is true, at least. You're clearly not on the kaiju's side. After all, they are a threat to your primary objective, which would be to carry out the plan you formed in 2188. However, that plan may now be untenable. The situation has deviated too drastically. Recall when I brought you to the underground UFO? I believe you said something like, it was out of your hands.
This is the mainframe of the UFO?
Yes.
Honestly, Okino-kun, you can't take anything else in life seriously. So why do you put so much time into all this?
Okino.
Just talking to myself. More importantly, look at this mess. Something unpleasant must have happened here.
Most likely. A Shikishima android. Probably left here by Ida-san. They've all been shot. External damage suggests the weapon was a phaser. They're all out of commission. Too damaged to function.
I see. Let's get started then.
Is it really possible?
I have a fairly comprehensive grasp of this system. This abnormality all comes down to the decode, right? I should be able to get rid of it.
Why would Miss Morimura push for Operation Aegis if this was an option all along?
Well, you said it yourself. She's either being controlled by someone, or she could be trying to save herself.
That's not right. Hold on. That file system hadn't even been analyzed yet. How did you gain access?
I have a senior admin ID. Access privileges for the entire system.
You somehow got access to an account that high level?
Yes, I have my ways. This is no good. Sector 3's mainframe has been damaged in an attack. It's barely operational. I won't be able to process much here. Well, not much choice. I'll have to send direct instructions to the command ship.
Command ship?
The mothership in orbit. It can send commands directly to the UFO.
Is it? An Ark? Some grand design from the people of the future?
Either that or a base of operations for an alien invasion. The comms channel to the command ship is cut off. Must be hiding somewhere beyond the horizon. Looks like about 35 minutes until the comms reconnect. But we don't have that long. Time to find another link.
Will this fix cut off the Kaiju's attacks?
It should be able to solve the problem at its core. However, we can't stop any commands that were already processed. That's out of my hands.
Which means we'll still have to deal with the Kaiju already generated. We don't know how many the factories have produced. If we could just verify their numbers. We're going to need the Sentinels after all.
That may be best. Operation Aegis is too much of a risk.
In other words, the decode's activation is a blow you cannot recover from. No matter how you try to fix it, your plan is irreversibly impacted. The most direct fix would be eliminating the decode. Then, you would just restart the loop anew. In order to trigger a loop, you need them to destroy all the sector's mainframes. And therein lies your goal. You want this world destroyed so the timeline can be reset. But you have one major obstacle, and that's Operation Aegis. Aegis isn't just an ordinary defense system. It causes a terminal to seal itself off in self-defense, preventing anyone from using it to control the world. Once all the terminals are sealed off, we'll be severed from the mainframe, effectively preventing any further loop or extinction. But if that happens, your plan is null and void. We'd be stuck in a loop where your goal was impossible. Let's backtrack a little bit. we discussed the suspect of Miss Morimura's murder. And you asked me who I think did it. If you actually are Professor Chihiro Morimura, then I believe you personally murdered Miss Morimura.
Did I now?
She was a staunch advocate of Operation Aegis. A thorn in your side, someone in the way of your reset.
An interesting theory, if also an incorrect one.
Believe me, I understand why you'd view me with hostility. Certainly Renya Goto was responsible for chasing you out of Newman. Even if it was on Shikishima's behalf, a buyer simply eliminating liabilities. After that, you took the lead on Project Arc, under Kengo Ogata's oversight. Kengo Ogata, of course, being Nenji Ogata's father, and Shikishima's chairman, who recognized your talent. He passed away in 2187. His age caught up with him. But the other Kengo Ogata is perhaps more relevant. The one you created after his death using his memories. An AI construct. You were letting it control you.
I was just getting advice. Dug that out of a log, too?
Yes. Renya Goto found that AI. The log was recorded in the colony after your death. Once your clone reaches 18 years of age, you set it so that she'd download your memories. It's clear this project was not a selfish endeavor. I'm sure you felt a sense of duty to save humanity. But you were also trying to bring Kengo Ogata back to life. So Professor Morimura takes over Chihiro Morimura's clone. And presumably, Kengo Ogata would take over Nenji Ogata's clone. That's why you're so intent on sticking to the plan. Certainly, from your perspective, Miss Morimura was expendable. She had to die. Her very survival endangered your ultimate goal.
Well, that is a shame. This isn't ideal, but you know too much. Goodbye.
Oh?
Initiating metaskill analysis. This shouldn't take too long.
Whoa.
I'll send you the data once it's ready.
That would be great.
But I must say, this is a surprise. Okino-kun really managed to push this through? Integrating this half-coded thing into the control system?
Thank you. No, well, Okino wanted to tell you that. Thank you.
Okino-kun said that?
He said the analysis wasn't complete yet. So he appreciates your help with all this.
I see.
To look at you, anyone might think you were just a child. But you must be a truly exceptional individual. The message was Okino's, but I'd like you to know I'm grateful as well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must return to the battle.
That boy. So he appreciates me, does he? Well, that is a shame. This isn't ideal, but you know too much. Goodbye.
You cannot shoot me with that gun. So anyone who knows the truth of Aegis is a liability to you. And liabilities must be dealt with. Does that sum it up? If you recall, I specifically acquired this gun for your purposes. You had concerns about self-defense.
I can guess what happens next. Now you're going to use it to shoot me.
Perhaps I wasn't clear. For safety reasons, neither one of us can be shot with this gun. I configured it very specifically. As I suspected, this gun records the time of its last discharge. And that time looks to be a near match for Miss Morimura's estimated time of death. Which suggests you used this gun to murder her. Now, on the day of the crime, you yourself were using the drone to keep tabs on Miss Morimura, weren't you? Based off of your expenses for that day, I presume you took a taxi to the crime scene.
How much do you have in that pocketbook? Were you just playing dumb this whole time? When did you realize? What gave away that I was the professor and not her?
There was a specific moment. It was back when Miura found you here. You described Miura as an excellent design engineer. But the Miura of 2188 was the design engineer, not him.
Did you dig that out of RENYA GOUTO's log too?
No. That I learned through Miura, the AI of Sentinel number 17. He also told me about the existence of the logs.
So, what happens to me now? If you're not killing me, I assume you're at least locking me up?
Considering what you did to Miss Morimura, I'm admittedly conflicted. But giving into my emotional reaction wouldn't solve anything. Vengeance isn't going to bring her back. So, with that in mind, I would rather choose the path that gets me closer to the truth. That is what I want now. To see what lies at the end of all this. To see what she never could. You told an obvious lie. You made it clear Jiro Izumi was not your cup of tea. Yet you and Izumi shared an intimate relationship in the year 2188. That was clear enough from all the evidence I found. Even the placement seemed intentional. You and Izumi, together in Sector 1. You died before you could set up the memory transplant. At that point, I can only assume, Izumi sympathized with you and helped carry out your vision. I can certainly understand Kengo Ogata's motive. He just wants to live again. But you, why are you so intent on transplanting your memory?
Because there has to be a leader. Without someone to guide them, teams dissolve into fear, spite, resentment. It'd be the colony all over again.
I see. As I suspected. Your devotion to this goal is inspiring in some ways. Are you a gambling woman? I'd like to propose a bet. We'll leave the terminals alone for you. We won't let Aegis seal everything off. Your loop would still be viable.
And in exchange?
As it currently stands, it'd be impossible to revert to your original plan without some compromise. But consider this. Even this final phase won't truly be the end. We'll have plenty of struggles beyond it. Plenty more pain ahead of us. If we can prove to you that we will overcome that, if we prove to you that we can face the unknown, then are we not worthy to take up your cause, inheriting your goal, and seeing it through?
You make an interesting point.
We can solve this problem ourselves. So my proposal is this. Let us fight our war. No sabotage. If we fail, then I could hardly object to a reset anyway.
that's your bet? You don't stand a chance.
Well, I suppose we'll see about that.
Aegis activated. Is anyone too compromised to keep fighting?
We've barely had a moment to breathe. The girls may be pushing their limits.
I'm still okay. I can keep fighting.
There are 3 terminals remaining. We can protect 2 of them with Aegis. But we're on our own with the last terminal.
How much longer do we need to hold out?
We need to re-establish a connection with Miyuki Inaba. That's still 10 hours off.
10 hours we don't have.
But her plan is our last hope. Then we fight to the last, until we have nothing left.
The kaiju are heading for the next terminal.
Brace yourself, Keitaro. We are soldiers, and this is the moment we train for. Hours, days, it doesn't matter. We'll hold the line. Let's go.
Chihiro-san. You're listening, aren't you? If you're out there, please respond. Chihiro-san,
What is it now?
you know a way to link up with the command ship. One that doesn't rely on its position, don't you?
You're thinking of when I revised the decode.
Right now, we need that shortcut.
And this is where you reveal some new leverage over me. I can't wait to hear what log you found this time.
No. This time, I'm asking a favor.
You have to be joking. You do realize the position I'm already in?
I do. Even still, all I can do is beg. I just want us to have a chance.
This is the most idiotic... I lied to you, you know. Do you know which lie I'm talking about?
Not this time.
When I said I wasn't going to like you. You're an infuriating man, RENYA GOUTO.
Chihiro-san.
Ready? Everyone, listen to me. We can communicate with the command ship out of range. I'm realigning the 3 surveillance satellites to their relay positions. We should be connected soon. However, the satellites have to move outside their preset tracks. They'll enter the gravity well and plummet to Earth. Your connection will only last until they hit the surface. You'll barely have any time to do this. Am I clear?
Thank you.
Honestly, humans can be so irrational. Though, I guess, I might be the most irrational one here. If you actually manage to pull this off, then I expect you all to take responsibility.
Chihiro.
Good luck, big brother. Almost connected. This is your only chance. Initiating communication.